What's up guys, the Hunted Reaper here, and today's video is going to be all about Burnout, a potential sequel, and why I believe the fact that Burnout Paradise Remastered being released is a very good sign that we're going to be seeing Burnout Paradise 2 or a brand new Burnout game in general. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and maybe even comment. But without further ado, let's get started. Burnout Paradise Remastered was a well-needed gem that came out of nowhere. No one was asking for it, and the Burnout series had kind of died out, with games like Forza and Need for Speed taking the helm of the racing industry. But if you were old enough, there was a Burnout-sized hole in your heart, and it was desperate to take down more cars, race to the finish line, and do some more stunt jumps. The game is unique, and it's a lot of fun to play, and especially at 60 frames a second now, it's one of the most fun racing games I've played in a while. Although it is a remaster, 60 frames makes a big difference in a game where it's all about multiple things happening around you at once and chaos reigning. Especially because of the fact that now multiplayer is back and better than ever, we can relive the Burnout franchise as well as show other people, maybe younger kids who weren't old enough to play it, that Burnout was one of the best racing series of the early 2000s. As someone who studies the patterns of the gaming industry, the release of Burnout Paradise Remastered was a tactically multifaceted decision, and I'll tell you guys why. Well, first off, Burnout hasn't been in the mainstream gaming media for a while now. The last attempt to make a good Burnout game came with extreme failure when the developers decided to completely revamp the Burnout series with Burnout Crash in 2011. Years went by and many people believed that that was the end to a once amazing series and said goodbye to the racing, crashing, crazy genre. Quickly after, the racing market got saturated with many more games and people forgot about Burnout. With the hype behind Burnout fully gone and most kids not even knowing what the Burnout series was, funding a brand new next-gen Burnout would be something that probably developers and publishers wouldn't even sign off on. So the release of Burnout Paradise Remastered brings back the hype that Burnout had in 2009. And now we have a lot of people wanting a sequel, wanting a next-gen version of cars demolishing each other. We have a lot of video games in the industry like Forza and like Need for Speed, but they really aren't focused on collisions, crashes, insanity, and overall fun arcadey gameplay. We're in an industry now where every racing game is kind of serious, and the ones that aren't as good as they could be. Days after its release towards the end of March, Burnout Paradise Remastered topped the charts in the UK and sold very well across the world. With sales going surprisingly well, there is one thing we can be sure of. There is going to be another Burnout game. It doesn't make sense for them not to make one. With all that being said, I'm going to assume the potential sequel is going to be Burnout Paradise 2. Burnout 3 Revenge wasn't remastered or any other Burnouts in the series, so I'm just assuming that they're trying to line up some hype for Burnout Paradise 2. So all of my expectations and wants are going to be based around the theory that they are making Burnout Paradise 2, but they can still be used for any Burnout sequel in general. Before we get started, expectations are things I really think that should 100% be in the game without a doubt, and wants are things that I personally would enjoy, but if they weren't in the game, it wouldn't kill anyone. The first expectation I have for the new Burnout Paradise game is a larger, more diverse, vibrant map. Burnout Paradise has a fun map with a lot of cool jumps, and with the Big Surf Island DLC, it actually makes it a lot more fun to go around and do crazy jumps. But one of the things that I definitely want to see is a more diverse map. That means different kinds of terrain like snow, rain, sleet, dirt, and weather changes to make the world feel more alive. I also want a more vibrant world in general. Yes, Burnout Paradise, the original, had some nice colors, some nice environments, but for the most part, it was kind of a bland world, especially when you got into the countryside. It kind of resorted to dull greens and street-like grays without having much vibrancy. Now with the new next-gen consoles, obviously developers can crank this to 1,000 and make a very vibrant, colorful, awesome game to crash cars in. My next expectation for this game is for the cars to be completely remodeled and also the destruction system for those cars to be more realistic. While the driving doesn't have to be realistic at all, it would be awesome to see more realistic crashes, cars being pulverized, and a more dynamic engine that allows every crash to feel unique. Because after a while of playing Burnout games, you kinda know what cars are gonna look like after they crash. But with our new systems, with these new capabilities, we can make a game where the cars crash differently every time based on their environment, and that would be awesome, and another reason to keep playing the game. There are games with great vehicle damage systems like Grand Theft Auto 5, however, the top tier racing games don't have that. Forza 7 and stuff like that, they don't really concentrate on the damage to the cars and just the overall amount of, damage that would be done to a car going at 110 miles an hour, crashing into a car going the other way at 110 miles an hour. It isn't realistic, and if a Burnout game would be able to do that, that would be awesome. Now, a definite want of mine would be a lot more smashies, and smashies are basically the signs and the billboards in the game that you can smash and go through and break, and I feel like that would be a lot of fun to bring back. They're addictive as hell, especially when, you're jumping on the game for 15 minutes and you just want to cruise around, crash into things, and have a good time without dedicating yourself into the game. Finding smashies all around the map was a lot of fun to have. Now, I would hope they make more different kinds of smashies. I mean, I love billboards and signs, but seeing a lot more destructible objects would be awesome in the game, especially if they make some sort of like Battlefield-esque large-scale smashies where, it changes the duration of the race, or it changes the way the race goes because the destruction that you've created makes it impossible for other racers to go a certain way. Kind of like Split Second, but not as explosive and Michael Bay on steroids. Another want I'd like to see in this game would definitely be a more alive world. And what I mean by that is when you're playing single player or free roam, I would love to see random cars just driving around, trying to take you down, NPCs that make the world feel more alive. And in Burnout Paradise, once a car was available to unlock, it would drive around the road, and if you take it down, it's in your garage. But after that, cars like that wouldn't drive around. And after you've beaten the game, it's kind of dead unless you start a race or something, because there's no random cars driving around on the road. So just to make sure that the game doesn't get boring at any point in time, having random cars just driving around doing crazy things, maybe even having races go on at the same time while you're just cruising, and you can influence those races or pass by them, that would be a pretty awesome caveat to have in a game where, you want to spend the most amount of time with your adrenaline pumping as hard as you can. Another expectation of mine is to keep realism out of this game. Except for like destruction and, things breaking and physics, I do not want realistic driving controls. Save that shit for Forza and, Gran Turismo or any other driving simulator that takes itself really seriously. But in a game like this, I really like the arcade style of Burnout, and that's what I missed so much, and I think that's what a lot of people miss so much. So nailing that would be perfect for Burnout Paradise 2. Another want I have is one that relates back to one of my favorite childhood Burnout games, which was Burnout 3 Revenge, and that is the amount of modes that are in it. It focused more heavily on taking down cars instead of races, and I feel like that would be a great way to go for the Burnout series in general, just because of the fact we have so many racing games, and if it would focus on what makes it good, it will be better than anything else. It would also be fun if they brought back the demolition events from Burnout 3, where you have a target to hit, and you go in and jump, and maybe it's an oil tanker and it explodes or something crazy. Because showtime is fun in Burnout Paradise, where you can crash your car intentionally and move it around the map trying to collect the most money, but it doesn't really give us any situations that make us want to come back to the event. And having unique situations where, you can drive your car into different things and then explode in different ways, and trying to get the highest score for that would definitely bring back the demolition / showtime mode in a way that Burnout 3 Revenge kind of perfected, and we would definitely want to see in a next-gen system amped up to 10. My last want would be to bring back DJ Atomica, the DJ in the game that always, talks to you during, downtime and explains what races do and stuff like that. I feel like he gave the game a little extra pizzazz, and the things he said were really cool and fun and added a little bit of a charm to the game. and I'd hope in the next game they have, you know, him with more lines to say so it doesn't get boring as quickly, and maybe even constant updates to the game's soundtrack, as well as, you know, what DJ Atomica says to keep it up to date. You know, games now are updating themselves constantly and meticulously, like Burnout, not like Burnout, like Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon Wildlands, and just having constant updates to a game makes it more fun and keeps you coming back to it. For the last and final point, I don't know whether to make it an expectation or a want, because I'm not sure how it would fit into the Burnout universe. I'm still going to say it, and that is customization. I feel like customization would be an awesome element to add to the game, and it would definitely make people come back for more and more. Having customization in the game wouldn't be like a game-breaking thing. Maybe it would change smaller things, like making a speed-based car a little more aggressive, or making, you know, a 4x4 have a bigger chassis or something like that. Just little customization options, or maybe even big ones, to make your car more personal and your own, rather than just, you know, the different colors that they allow. And maybe even making insignias so you can put your insignia on your car, or being able to customize smaller details that are like just cosmetic, like the roof and the hood and the rim and stuff like that. Little customizations that could be unlocked and stuff like that. I feel like it would make the game just a lot more fun, a lot more fun to grind. And adding RPG elements to a game never really hurts games, except for a select few, but I feel like those kind of RPG-esque elements of customization and development would really help the game as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and my expectations and wants for Burnout Paradise 2. I know it isn't even confirmed yet, but just from Burnout Paradise Remastered being out and, you know, being released, I feel like it's definitely going to happen, and they're building up hype for it. So that's why I made this video for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like, subscribe, and continue to watch The Hunted Reaper. I have PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds videos, Battlefield videos, Destiny videos, fitness videos. I have a lot of stuff, so check out the channel. Maybe subscribe, maybe leave a comment, maybe even favorite the video. I don't know if people favorite videos anymore, because I've never favorited a video, but hopefully you guys do. But without further ado, I'm The Hunted Reaper, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.